everyone, I'm Golda,
And I'm Jamie.
and welcome to the J Gold Impact.
Impact.
Yes, today, it's going to be like another little interesting one, a little walk down memory lane. Go ahead, Jay, take him to it.
So, we are talking about the mother daughter connection.
Yes, yes, because I always say when mothers have daughters, it's just a special bond, right? It's one of these ride or die situations. Yes, shout out to mothers with daughters. Yes, we know mothers have son as well. But you know what? The daughters are special, because it's one of those you kind of see yourself in your daughter. They're going through things that you went through and you can kind of have conversations with them and so on and so forth. So we just wanted to talk about the mother-daughter connection. Really and truly, no discount to the mother and son. We know it's there, but for this episode, we're talking about the mother and daughter. So, Jamie, what is one of the main core memories of fun that you remember growing up?
So, of course, there are many, but one of my favorite memories growing up is when we would dance around and play the Taibo workout videos.
Ah, Tybo. Shout out to Billy Banks. Yes, OG. He was one of the first. I tell you, he was hardcore.
And I love that memory because I think it's one of the reasons why I love working out today. It was such a great way to introduce the importance of fitness in a really healthy and balanced way.
Yes, yes. And fitness, you were talking about fitness and running around, but I was trying to lose weight at the time. So got to get rid of that baby fat, right? Okay. So,
How about you?
yes, okay. So one of my fondest memory was just dropping you off to preschool, because you were so cute. And yes, for all the mothers on the grind, we know, right? Drop the kids off, run back and forth, back to school, back to work, etc. But for me, it was fun because I got to carve out some time in your little 6 year old, 7 year old self to kind of have mother daughter time together. Even though I was dropping you at school, it was our bonding time. It was just time for just you and I to kind of get to know each other, talk about things when it was raining, when it was snowing, and what have you, and just seeing your little self in your little cute uniform. So that's one of my fond memories.
Okay, thank you for
Yes.
sharing.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that. So, is there, we've grown up. You're like an adult now. I'm an adult. You know, what are the things that you find that has changed in our relationship as a mother and daughter in terms of you now becoming an adult and myself?
Oh, from my perspective, one of the best parts of our relationship at this time is being old enough to drink a glass of wine and have real conversations
Shout out to mocktails.
and mocktails.
I say that because in one of our episodes, she chewed me up about, well, mommy, we can do mocktails too. So, yes. Yes. So I had to remind her, shout out to mocktails. Yes. Uh huh.
And so, yes, just being of age to just enjoy, and it really feels like our relationship has blossomed into a friendship, as well as, of course, parental and child. Because I now have my own life and I'm an adult, I feel so comfortable coming to you for life advice and speaking almost peer to peer, which is so special.
Yes. And I am that mother, by the way. But for me, I think the best part is now that you're an adult, I can kind of like give you little life lessons, like to say, when I was 24, I did this and I did that. You may not want to do that. Or, save your money, make sure you have a bank account and things like that. So I think in terms of getting older, I'm more able to still, you know what? There's still always going to be the child and the mother role, right? But as an adult, it's like you're seeing your child as the future you and looking back and saying, what can I partake or impart on her in terms of wisdom and helping her along. And we're not talking about we're doing everything for the children, no, we're not talking about that. We're just talking about giving her sage advice, right? To say, okay, you may not want to go down that road. If you do, this is what's going to happen. Why? Because I've been there, or something like that. So I think in terms of being a mother and you being an adult, it's a little easier to help you navigate through the stumbles of life and things like that. And shout out to the mothers out there, because we know that not every mother and daughter situations and relationships are easy and fun going and, BFF kind of things. But you know what? There's room to grow. Right, Jay?
Always, yes.
Yes.
It's never too late to turn any relationship
Yes.
around.
And you know what, though? It breaks my heart when I see daughters not getting along with their mothers over whatever the issues are. Because at the end of the day, your mother is always going to be that person fighting for you, helping you along, wanting to have the best, wanting to do everything. So, you know what? For all you little hard head girls out there who don't want to take your mother's advice, take a minute and stop, because we're always coming from a place of love, and it's always about safety. Because I do remember when you were younger, I never gave you any curfews or things like that, right?
No.
Yeah, I was pretty lenient.
You were.
Yeah. There was no curfew because I never had curfew. But it was just saying, you know what, do what you want and go, but just let me know where you're going to be. Why? Because safety first, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of my mottos I lived by. Yes.
And I think also there's something to be said about this age because
Yes.
instead of telling me what to do, you now help guide me.
Yes.
And in a way, you can tell me, this is accurate. I feel like I can help guide you in certain things as well,
Whew.
based
Oh
on
my
my
gosh.
experience.
Yes. And I'm talking over you. I'm like, oh my gosh, because it's just pouring out, right? I'm like, oh my God, you have helped me in so many ways. And then this is a nice thing about when your daughter becomes an adult, because then she can advise you on things that's current. Because sometimes as parents, we're a little outdated on things. We're not in the pulse. We're not like knowing everything. And to have a younger mini me is a nice thing.
Right, across categories, whether it's makeup, fashion trends,
Yes.
you name it.
Although I'm always pushing some fashion on you because you're always about black and white colors. She doesn't wear any colors really. I'm always the one trying to push her over to that. But like I said, I was the same at her age. And you see, I've kind of come a long way in terms of colors. So there's room. And again, this is one thing also as parents, we can't be so absolute with our children. There's growing to be done. And, they may not see eye to eye with you and things like that, but trust me, they will come around. And eventually, it breaks my heart to say that, you know what, they turn into like a little you.
Why does that break your heart?
I don't know. I had to say that because sometimes, parents go through struggles with their children and things like that. And it's not always easy. So I did have it good with you, I have to say, because I did not have any major hiccups in terms of raising you or things like that. So, yeah.
So, speaking of raising me, what were some of the challenges that you faced as a mother, especially when I was younger?
Work.
Yeah.
That was one of my biggest things. That was always my kind of like headspace that got to me, because I always felt like, am I giving my child enough attention? Am I giving work too much? And that work-life balance, because every parent who work, right, whether you're mother or father, but we're talking about mothers, there's always that feeling of guilt. Am I giving too much to my job and not enough to my child or something like that? So for me, now I have some time. But back then, it was always, when I said the favorite part was dropping you to school, was because I kind of like had that little 30-minute time with you each morning before my day started to kind of like talk to you and see how you were doing, etc. Because then here comes 6 o'clock. What is it? 7 hours gone by. I haven't seen my girly girl, and I'm guilty as whatever because the whole day is gone and I've not seen her because she's in school or what have you. So to me, that was my biggest struggle, was that work-life balance and feeling like I wasn't putting work in front of raising you.
That is something I've heard many times
Yes,
from
yes.
other mothers.
And you know what, though? I do have to say, America, whew, we have a problem. Because when I was in Amsterdam, these mothers were with their children and they had a good work-life balance with their children. But here in America, we can do better. That's all I'm going to say.
And now that remote work is more common, I'm sure that helps a lot for some of the
Yeah.
mothers out there.
Yes. Shout out to COVID, because COVID really changed things with mothers working
Yeah.
and just having a little bit more time. Because before that, it was in the office 7 days a week, 5 days a week, what have you, with no time at home. So now COVID has proven that mothers can work from home and still be productive. So, yes, hence the work life, home, remote kind of thing balance, because, yeah, now it's possible. But back then, it was not. It was you had to be in the office, okay, for corporate America, 5 days a week. The rest of the world, sometimes seven, depending on what you do for work. But the average corporate America was 5 days a week.
Wow. I
Yeah.
cannot imagine that.
Yeah. So, so as you go through life and you start navigating, and we talk about the mother daughter relationship, it is possible to forge a good relationship with your child. Don't give up on them. God is good all the time. Sometimes they get a little stubborn, and what, mothers, you can tell when you have a stubborn child versus not, right? Yes, you can.
How
So,
can you tell?
yes. It's always that child that wants to go to the fire even though you're telling them it's hot. And that's a metaphor because when you know. Yeah.
For the record, I am not that child.
No, I said you were easy. That's why I said I didn't have that problem. This is why we have such a good relationship because there was not that knocking of heads. And a lot of times, mothers and daughters can knock heads. Not all the time, but the lucky ones, they don't knock heads. But I am saying, Jamie, you are not like Miss Perfect either because there have been a couple of times I had to walk you off the plank. you know? And she's like, my business. yes. Yes. And I was like, oh, okay. So we will leave it at that. But yes. So America, we just want to talk about the mother-daughter relationship because you know what? At the end of the day, it's all about love, right, Jay?
Right. And I guess before we part ways, do you have any advice for anyone who might be a new mother?
Whew. A new mother.
Or just someone who is a mother already?
Yes. You know what? It goes back to givers. Okay? As mothers, many times we tend to be givers. And sometimes, the mothers who have that knock, knock, knock with their kids are takers. And just try to love on your child and pray over them because they're going to go through a lot. And also the company they keep, the company they keep. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is our mother-daughter connection, and we kind of wanted to talk about it. You've heard that, mommy's guilty about work when she was younger, no more. But also the struggles of just being a mother and taking your child into school or not, or carving out time for them daily. And sometimes the kids can grow up resentful, depending on if you have a good balance. So as mothers, it's up to us to balance the scale. Because sometimes in America, the scale is tipped one way versus the other, like that. And it's up to us to kind of balance it for our children. Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yes, I know. So you've heard our mother-daughter connection. Give us a like, hit the notification button, and subscribe.
And a comment while you're at it, please.
Yes, because you know what? I know I'm going to get those comments from you mothers saying, oh, I don't have that connection, or oh, I have that connection. But I would love to hear from you, right, Jamie?
Yes.
Yes, we would love to hear from you. So until next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.